Welcome back to the lonely road. It feels like it's been so long.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. So many things have happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Oh
Welcome
my
back.
god.
Welcome back to the Lonely Road.
Sorry for leaving you guys lonely. Your guys, I guess, left for a little bit. Life
Here we
happened.
are,
I
handling
I
our own
got deathly
lives.
sick. It was fucking hell. I was in bed for like almost a week, and now we're back. But
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
god.
And I had some stuff happen. Had a very sick cat, and then eventually lost her. So that was very traumatic for my little family. But yeah, now we're back, and we're dealing with some things. Both have good things going, and some sideways things going, and we both have some positive things going in our life. And I think that we can take those things and then take the challenging things in stride because we have so many good things going for us. Welcome back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely welcome back. Make sure you guys are still doing better and hopefully everything's going good for you guys. Life has been so chaotic and so crazy. Like there is stuff that happens on a daily basis that I'm just like, wow, what I didn't expect that answer, that comment, that thought. Like the next episode we're going to record breaking the fourth wall here. My mom's like, "Hey guys, can you guys talk about this? Maybe you guys can give me some insight that I'm not seeing or something."
Yeah.
And that like was fucking weird. Like it was just like, well, I don't like when my fucking shit crosses a little bit. Like it just makes you feel a little like, whoa, wait. I didn't expect everybody to actually watch. I thought they were all lying to me. But like, oh my god, man, dude, it's just fucking weird.
But I love that. I love it. And yes, it's weird, and it's going to be a learning experience for you. And I think that that's the first real request that we've had to hit on something. And that'll be
Yeah.
our episode after this. But and I want to invite people who are listening to, if you have something that you're struggling with and you want us to hit on that, comment on this or get our attention in some way, so that we can make sure that happens for you. We try to catch all our comments, but in some way, if we don't get to it, that in the next couple episodes, because we will prioritize it, make sure that you get our attention in some way. I think Zach's got an email address listed in the comment or in the introduction,
A lot
where
of
you
it's
can get a
just
hold of him.
yeah, contact the Facebook, contact the TikTok. Both of them have open messaging and stuff like
Okay,
that and makes it
that's
more
probably the
available.
best way.
Yeah. And then there's also now, since KJ asked me to make sure that it was taken care of, the YouTube community page is now available as well. So any of the forum comments or conversations that you guys want to have more there, um, when we start getting traction there, I do plan on like giving like the topics and stuff like that open communication and dialogue there where it's like another
Yeah.
topic and you guys can ask questions and it can expand from there, and maybe there's stuff where it can like expand into another episode or stuff like that.
I would really love to build that community, and that's why I wanted that open, because I want people to have a place where they can come with like-minded individuals that aren't going to clown on them for their grief, or
Yeah.
their need to or want to know how to overcome something in their life. So that's what this community is going to be all about, and I just invite everybody to join or leave there what you'd like an episode to be about in the future. Um,
It, exactly. And especially with how many times that we've sat here and we've thought about things. We've come up with all of these topics either with things that have happened in our life or are currently we're dealing with. So, it's been off the wall of just like, well, this is a good thing. This is a good topic and kind of touching all the bases that, everybody kind of needs. But, at some point it feels like you're just kind of like strangleholding one fucking topic and it kind of feels uncomfortable at some point.
Yeah,
So,
we're right here. We're here for you too. I
yeah.
mean, we go through things that we're going through in our life, and we have a list of things that we can pick from on a whim to record about, which is awesome. But we want to know what you guys need as well. So that's very
Yeah.
important to us. So today we're talking about some walkaway parents. In Zach's
Yeah.
case, it's a dad. But not all parents, they leave, they walk out the door, they don't have anything to do with your life. You have those kind. You also have parents that don't leave by walking out the door. They leave emotionally. They leave through silence, anger, addiction. Um, it leaves holes in people, and I think that's what we're gonna address today is the holes. The holes and how we can fill those holes.
Yeah.
Because we like to have action in our episodes. How we see ourselves, how that fits into the puzzle pieces of trust, and our self-worth, um,
Yeah.
and what we believe in ourselves.
I don't know. I think this topic not only hits home for me, but obviously me and you've had those conversations where it's like, okay, just because they're around doesn't mean that they're able to help. Just because they're around doesn't mean that it's like a rounded off enough person in order to be able to help you and do things and do the right thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's also like the mindset that I had as a kid of like, well, you walked away. Who fucking cares? To like now being an adult, it's like, okay, the fact that they walked away is bad. But the
Right.
fact that both parents, in order to cause that to happen, made choices and did things in order for that to happen, almost skates by your mind as a kid and you don't realize. And then by the time that like you're 20, 25, you're sitting there talking to mom and, dad hasn't been here for 20 years. And you're like, well, what happened? And then they trauma dump to you everything that they've caused. And then all of a sudden, now you're looking at everything in a new light because there are some runaway parents and then there are parents that absolutely have no idea what the fuck they're doing or the person's controlling or abusive or whatever, and then you're left to sit there and pick up the pieces.
Right.
A- and it's depressing because there's so many different nuances and different answers in these situations where it's just like, no, just because mom was a single mom doesn't mean mom was in the right. It just
Yeah.
means that that's what the standard was.
No, absolutely. And you learn, you see what things one way when you are, a child. And then as you, mature and you realize that there are two sides to every story, you do realize that, there are two sides to every story. And um, they both had a hand, in what happened between them, which could have led to the relationship with you. But the bottom line there is, regardless of what happened between them, in there's still free will.
Yeah.
You either have the inner fortitude to want to have a relationship with your child, or you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Like it's so weird, especially when you look at like my personality as a kid. I don't think anybody would have pegged me as the dude who's going to end up becoming the dad, loving being a dad so much that he's like now against single parents, now against like some of the bullshit that I was like, dude, my mom needs to be supported entirely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
it's such a weird mindset change. I don't think very many people expected me to be the person that I am with the mentality I have and stuff like that.
No, but
And
we changed quite a bit. There was, quite a 180 that happened in both of our lives, for different reasons and separately, um, and that made a big difference in how we saw the world, I think.
yeah, and the thing that really really prompted me to want to talk about this, and I have zero problem talking about myself too, but like my fiance, we were sitting there, we were talking with her dad, and her dad ran away because he was stupid young when
Mhm.
she was born. And she looked at me and she's like, well, this is the story I was told. And the story didn't match anything about what he said. And he said this: well, your mom took me and ran into the bathroom and said that you didn't pay for her yet. You don't get to see her. And that was one of the last times that that she's like knew about them being somewhat close. Everything else after that point was like through third parties and stuff like that. And I was like, holy shit, that
Wow.
is like the strength that some people think that just being a parent gives them is scary disgusting to me. It's like just because you have this kid doesn't mean that you can unilaterally control every little thing about their entire fucking life.
Or about the other parent's life. Use that
Exactly.
child to control other people in your life. That is
It's
definitely
just
something that we
it,
have to go through as a learning experience, some of us, I guess. But some of us just don't learn from it, and they think that that's power.
Yeah, and it's scary because I think a lot of like 90s moms, like that stereotype that came from the generation before us and kind of was parent to my generation, a lot of that mental illness of like I have to be in control over everything. The women all of a sudden becoming like boss bitches and like have to be in control over every little choice and decision. That causes that outfall of like, oh my God, you don't back talk to mom. Okay, that's great. Like, yeah, absolutely. But why can't I ask mom a question?
I think that's two completely different things.
Yeah.
You
I just
know,
think that one definitely has a controlling part of, parents walking away.
yeah,
Like if you have no voice and no ability to speak in your own home, at some point that's going to become devastating to being able to be a parent. It's scary, man. It really is. And it's sad. Like
yeah.
my dad fucking abused me. He absolutely shouldn't have been in my life at all whatsoever once that happened. I completely understand those circumstances. But like if you look at so many situations, my situation shouldn't be the fucking standard one. It shouldn't be, oh, now this person's a single mom and they do everything by themselves.
No, neither should Breeze, because I think that in her situation, she had a dad who was like young as fuck and didn't understand that he actually had rights as a father. Because back then, it wasn't father's rights weren't really that much of a thing. The mother had all the rights, and if for the mother to gaslight the father into things that weren't true necessarily,
And it
it's
it
kind of
breaks a
weird.
person. Like it totally breaks a person. And like it's become such a fucking joke and everything else in all of like society. Oh, that's a mommy's boy, or that girl has daddy issues and everything else. But they don't even like fully understand what the fuck those things mean.
Right, right. They're
Like,
holes. They're
yeah,
holes, and they're looking to fill those holes. And we can go beyond just saying the holes. We can actually talk about it, what it means, and how to start filling those spaces and
yeah,
eventually heal from these things, because that we don't always have to talk about the bad things. I think that's what happens in a lot of people's heads, is that the bad cycles over and over and over, but we got to give that step. That Zach and I want to give that step to be able to actually find ways to heal. Um,
yeah. And it's not just running to a bottle. It's not just running away
mhm.
from your problems when you're put in the same situation. And that's like my biggest thing is like I want to help some of these dudes not fucking run away just because it's scary, just because somebody wants to be in control, just because you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. You will
Yep.
at some point.
You will. You will, because, I mean, when a parent leaves, it has, no matter what way they leave, sometimes, like I said, it's all the drug addiction, sometimes it's the gaslighting, and not being, being able to be a part of things. And sometimes it's death. Sometimes it's, things that you can't control or can't be controlled. But when a parent leaves, it leaves a lasting impact on that person's life. I've absolutely seen, in so many different ways, the impact that any parent in any situation, how that impacts the leaving, whether it be the mom, whether it be the dad, whether it's just, whether it be death. It's just a lasting impact, that leaves holes, and it's not just the physical abandonment, the emotional absence, the conditional love, when love between a parent and a child should be unconditional. But in your mind, it's all mixed up, and you're like, what did I do to cause this?
Yeah.
When that
I,
decision
I,
was made way before you, usually, if it's an
I was
abandonment situation.
filling out psych paperwork this week.
Hmm.
And it asked me this really, really philosophical question.
Mm.
And it made me
Those are
think
fun.
because it's like, obviously, with mental illness and stuff like that, you got to actually unpack what the fuck you're about to say before you fucking hurt somebody.
Mhm.
But it asked me this question. It's like, how often do you think the other parent should be a part of your kids' lives? And it's like,
Oh.
in a hypothetical situation where nobody's hurt and there's no abuse and there's no problems and everything else,
Hmm.
they should be in the house in front of me and I should be able to see my kids any fucking minute I fucking want to. And they should have the same opportunity. Because regardless of if we're together or not, we're still a fucking team and we still need to make sure this kid gets all the way through until they fucking make it. That's our
Yeah,
job.
that is absolutely.
But as those people show their mental illness, their trauma and everything else, those terms need to change. And it's not just go the fuck away and never fucking say anything. It's leaving that door open if they fucking need it to be.
Yeah.
And like, it's not your job to fucking shove everything that they did in your relationship down their throat to be like, well, you're a bad parent because you fucked me up. Sorry, that's not how that works. You could be the greatest dad in the world and you could be the worst fucking husband possible. Those are two different fucking jobs. They don't fucking connect. Your
No,
relationship issues and the reason that you break up a relationship or a marriage should not ever fucking connect to being a parent at all unless it's abuse.
yeah, like there's even if you're very, very young, and you think you're the child is forcing you to grow up too fast or whatever the case is, I mean, you have to be able to step back and look at that responsibility. You um, you can't sit there and finger point at the other parent and be like, "You this, you that, you made me a bad parent." No, no, you may have trauma, but I argue to say that your trauma started way before you even met that other parent. And so it's actually not taking care of that, and resolving that, getting through that part of the road when you had to get through that part of the road, and now it's residual. So you're just compiling on the next person that didn't work out in your life, or the next thing that didn't work out in your life. And so you're just taking that blame and placing it again, where it doesn't belong, you know?
Yeah, and it becomes a like staggered situation. Every other thing is a bigger issue that you're like, oh, build on top of this and build on top of that. And then you have people who just fucking run away to go get a pack of cigarettes and don't fucking come back.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a spoiled bottle of milk right there, boy. You
And
know?
it's just it's so depressing because it seems like so many this rift where dads just walk away or moms deal with mental illness and run away and then try and come back and shit like that. If you cannot give your kid fucking consistency, as soon as you know what the fuck you have to do, like
Mm,
the first year, 2 years, obviously nobody fucking knows what they have to do. But if you cannot give that kid consistency, you are just as bad as not being there.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's very true. You have to be able to be- regulate yourself before you can regulate another relationship. And so it really does come back to, um, regulation. Take that time to regulate yourself. Take time to fill your own holes, if you will. Before
Maybe if you filled your own holes, you wouldn't be running away from a kid. You'd be
you
dealing with a situation and fixing it.
Jesus Christ. That was sorry. That was just sorry, not sorry. That was kind of funny. It just kind of had to was a break in the
But like
the seriousness.
it's so heartbreaking to watch all of these people just struggle and struggle and struggle when they dealt with the same problem too. It's like they don't know how to dad because they never had one, or they
Yep.
don't have a mom be that they don't know how to mom because their mom wasn't emotionally regulated whatsoever, and they're just a controlling douchebag.
Mm.
So like they try and lead with that, and that doesn't fucking work either.
Right.
Like
But
put your
yeah.
actual head down and see what the fuck's gone wrong in your life instead of assuming that everything was done correctly. If
Yeah.
you can't be like, okay, what were the things that hurt me in my life? And you put yourself into a place that would cure those things as a parent, you're not parenting correctly. Because at some point, when you become a good enough parent to be able to make sure that the people around you are safe, happy, and healthy, how you do that is realizing what you needed at that fucking age.
Yeah, that's very true. That absolutely helps to understand. If you can't put yourself in that kid's shoes, you're not doing things right, because when you were that age, did that feel good to you?
Yeah.
No, it didn't, and it probably happened to you. That's why you're probably repeating the fucking behavior, you
Yep.
know? But that leaves holes. It leaves the avoidance, the pushing people away, the attachment patterns, whatever they may be, or disassociation, the regulation emotionally, big reactions and shutdowns. You have kids that grow up having such identity confusion because there's a parent missing in their life, and they need that piece of the puzzle in order to put themselves together, whether it be the opposite sex parent or whether it be the same sex parent. It it
And
it it leaves the hole, and you don't know when you're that age how to fix it, how to fill it.
and I think that this stuff was only exacerbated by things like when you're watching The Simpsons or Family Guy, the dad is the retard who like nobody wants to be around until they're making a joke. Or when you watch the NFL draft or the MLB draft or the NBA draft, and the first thing they say is, "Yeah, I'm going to buy my mama that house." It's like, yeah, you should take care of your mom. But also, that was your dad's job.
Hmm.
That house should have already been bought. That house should have already been taken care of. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
how
mean,
that's supposed to work. Like,
absolutely, and it ties back to, again, my belief that there was a big conspiracy to have fathers removed from the home. There was a conspiracy, in my opinion, an incentive for women to not have the father in the home in order to get assistance
yeah,
and things of that nature. It takes society, and changes it around completely.
yeah, Bree was actually asking me about that because she saw a post on Facebook or whatever complaining about, people that have food stamps and people that like single moms and food stamps. And she's like, "Can you explain to me why this is a problem?" Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll explain it. I was like, when you incentivize a mom to break up a family the first time, fucking horrible and disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the emotional part of it, but let's
Yeah.
go deeper now.
And then you go into the situation where they're like, "Oh, I get $400 a week because he now has to pay child support, and I get $400 a month for me and him in order for to have food stamps." So you're saying that this is multiplicative, not even additive, and every single kid I get $400 worth of food and another $400 worth of money in order to live off of. You've now enabled not only the state to be able to reach in the dad's pockets, but you're incentivizing that woman to sit there and run around instead of building a stable home for those kids and find multiple dads that literally hands them money. And it's just like, yeah, there are situations where it's like, okay, that dude was a piece of shit. Absolutely, I agree. Walk away from him. Get yourself to safety. But
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that like the fault in these situations should be fucking absolved.
Right. Right. I mean, I really feel like having, both parents in the household is very, very important. Or if they're not in the same household, let it, the in my in my experience, it wasn't having them both in the same household. Um, I mean, having them both in the same household, I think would have benefited me in a completely different way. Let me say that first and
Yeah.
foremost. But the benefit of having them, they weren't in the same household, but the benefit of having them both in my life, um, I did have that at least,
Yeah.
you know?
It, some of the stats for motherless homes, fatherless homes, and then conjoined parents are fucking insane. And it's heartbreaking because it's like, you want to know the best way in order for your kids to be taken care of? Make sure that you actually have a stable fucking household.
Mhm.
You have both parents in the household. You want to know what serves just as well as that? The mom not being there. And then fatherless homes are the worst ranked homes in the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It really leaves the child with such identity confusion. Like, I remember, um, I mean, my dad wasn't completely gone, but I remember being like, why? I remember internalizing it and
Yeah.
being like, am I not enough? Like, why did this person leave? You know what I mean? And in the end of the situation, that person was made to leave. That's again when I got older, I realized more of the situation.
Mhm.
And that person wasn't invited to stay. So it wasn't really his choice,
Yeah.
and that puts a, like you said, a whole nother layer on the conversation.
It gives you the humanity for that person back
Hmm.
because you want to, like, so I'll open the fourth wall a little bit. I don't mean to, and hopefully it doesn't bite me in the ass, but I would rather be honest and transparent instead of just hide shit. It makes it easier for me to handle all of this.
Okay.
When we were going through my divorce and everything else, when the kids asked a fucking question, I answered it.
Okay.
To me, that meant something. It meant like I wasn't going to lie to them. If they asked me, why is mommy leaving? Mommy has other things she has to do, and that's more important right now. It's not my emotions telling me that. It's me telling you exactly what she's feeling and doing right now. And I understand where that could come across negatively or positively, depending on where your mindset is. But to me, that mattered more. It mattered
Well,
more to give them an answer instead of just leaving it up to interpretation. Because what happens if they fucking make this a convoluted mess that they don't understand?
right. They do need to know that it's not their fault. It's not their fault that
Mhm.
she had a different priority right then,
Yeah.
you know. But my question to you in that particular scenario is, what was your main motive
To
in
keep
what
them
the
as
things that you said to them?
calm and understanding it okay as I possibly could. I
Okay.
knew when I was in there, like I remember my mom telling me she crazy fucking story about how it was made, but she would be like, yeah, well, me and your dad were together for this period of time, and then he like didn't show up until I was like 3 and would like stop by for like 20 minutes at that point. And then when I was like 5 and could throw a fishing pole, like
Mhm.
then all of a sudden I became acceptable. So like I remember her multiple times like trying to explain to me why he walked away. And like the fact that she like didn't have the guts to explain it almost, or like the heart to explain it, hurt more because like I couldn't like understand why the fuck a dad would walk away until he could hold a fucking fishing rod. Like to me that was meaningless. Like, and if you just sit here and like smear the fucking answer, the only thing you're doing is giving yourself comfort because in the end, the person that needs to answer for these things are both parents, the one that walked away and the one that's still there, because that's how it works. And like at some point, those answers are going to come out regardless of if you want them to or not. And it's not mine or your choice to give them because it's still going to be asked regardless of if you want it to or not.
Mm.
It's your job to be honest and open and transparent enough to actually give the answer.
Yep. Yep. And it's whatever she felt appropriate with at that time was
Ex-
clearly not what you would have liked. And that's fine. But it was
yeah.
also his responsibility to take the situation and make you his priority in those times when he didn't.
Yeah. And
That's not her
I
fault.
never would be. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like, is if a parent completely walks away, it's not just your narrative you have to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
No,
have
no.
to you have to be honest and transparent and say I fucked up here and here. It caused this reaction was the reason why everything blew up, and I'm sorry it hurt you. And that's how it moves forward. You have to be transparent and honest not only about yourself but their thought process the best you possibly can, and explain it, especially if this person's not fucking coming back. You're not doing them any grace by like letting this kid go and find them at 18 if they're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, at the same time, if they're going to find, somebody at 18 that they've been, you may not wanna, I don't know. There's a fine line,
Yeah,
and all situations are different. When
absolutely.
when there's abuse involved, there's there's a whole 'nother layer,
Yeah, I
in
know.
my opinion.
And it's hard not to speak from the level that I was at or
Yeah.
am dealing with. Obviously, like a couple months ago. this is the level that my dad has not been in my life or not in my life at all. Both Maddie and Nick came up to me within a week of each other, which is, how everything always fucking happens. And they look at me as like, Dad, where's your dad even live?
Closer than you'd think.
So I gave them the area and they're like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah, that's why we don't go down that road. It gives me panic attacks because like they understand like the sort of like basis of everything that happened, not like individual things, but like, hey, this is why I'm the dad that I am. This is why I listen and try and understand where you're coming from. But like, this is why we don't go this way. This is why we don't go to this place. And like totally laid it out for Maddie. And she's like, oh, that's really weird. And I'm sorry for that.
Mhm.
And it was just listening to songs like Headlights and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, my kids will never be at your funeral.
No. No.
And it's weird. It's weird when you look in that situation and you deal with the same situation and like they scream out and say the same things that you did. Like you try and change it, you try and fix it, but there's no way to fix it. You can't fix it by yourself. Because if the other person doesn't see this things the same way as you do, regardless of how kind or not kind you're being, you can't fix it by yourself.
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot that's carried because of that too.
And it,
It's a
it,
lot.
it sucks. It sucks watching, people make decisions to walk away from something because they're trying to start something new instead of like trying to fix it and put it all together and everything else. Like, regardless of if somebody's an adult or not, they still want you a part of their life until you decide not to be. And when you walk away because, oh, this person's doing this, or I'm getting married and this person's pregnant and fuck everything else I had, dude, everything else that you had came from you. It's not, oh, I'm going to restart and I have a new life. No, you don't ever restart life. Everything that you have right now is because you had something else before. The only
Yeah.
person that those kids have to thank for everything they have and everything that you are and every choice that you've ever made are the reasons that you are where you're at. You can't say fuck any of those decisions. You can't even say fuck being abused. You have to say, hey, those things happened. Those things made me the way that I am. And I'm a better person because I dealt with those things in a better way than what other people dealt with it.
Yeah. And if you didn't, at this point, just learn from that and move forward in a different way,
Exactly.
because your kids are kids that you made are hoping beyond hope that they don't have to keep wondering if they're too much, or what they did to make you leave, or why they're not good enough for you to stay, or what they did, why they can't earn, your love, or attention. It's real. And if you can't, back up and take care of your wounds, you're not going to be able to be any kind of role model for that child, you know.
And it's damn near impossible. That's why I don't like when everybody's like, yeah, well, I restarted my life at 30 because I got divorced and put it all back together. No, that's not true. You didn't restart. You are still the same person. You still make the same mistakes. You are still human. You cannot sit here and rewrite the entire history that you changed up until you were 30 or
No,
up until you came back or you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
life doesn't work that way.
no, just
Life
think of it
doesn't
like a
rewrite itself.
Mario video game. Just think of
Yeah.
Mario Brothers. You know, you go, you pass the first, you pass the first, 3 levels or whatever, and it marks it. So you don't have to go back there again, but you're starting back at that point. So if you finish a board or two, and then something happens, and you have to go back to that last start point,
Mhm.
then that's what you have to do. But you're not starting your life all over again. You're building on what you already have and what you've already built. Yes, you lost some things. That's why you got put back aboard. But go ahead and get past that next checkpoint, which is 3 boards ahead, and you won't go back past that either, unless you decide to just take your hands off the steering wheel of your life and just
And I
let it crash.
and it seems like this is the biggest argument why so many people run away is, the excavator wife, or the the grave digger of the wife, where they're always digging up old shit. And they're the plumber of the household, and they're always digging in that sewer. Here, guys, we're dealing with this shit today. You don't have to do that. You fix it and you move the fuck on. You make sure to jump on that fucking shell before it fucking hits you, because you fucking lived this life already. You've made these decisions already, and you already know where you fucked up. So fucking fix it. Hold yourself accountable and move forward. That's not restarting. That's choosing a different fucking path.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter that the fact that you're fucking 45 or 50 and still making the same fucking mistakes. If you make the same fucking mistake, fucking fix it and make it fucking okay.
Or you're going to continue to be in the quicksand that you're in. You have to make a different choice. Something's got to be a catalyst to make a different decision, you know?
Yep.
Um, and, as that parent, if you're that parent, that runaway mom or dad, you have kids that are floundering, wondering why. And they're going through a process, and or have gone through a process in their lives. And they are going to, or have gotten to a point where they understand why you left, or can understand why you left, but it's not excusing it.
Yeah.
um, you know, you have to own it if you want to get back into their life. You have to own what you've done. You have to own the leaving. You have to own, what they felt in that moment. You have to listen to that in order to
Yep.
rebuild it.
And I want to give my mom the grace to actually understand that I thank her for actually answering the questions and taking the accountability when I fucking called shit out.
Yes, she
And
did.
like, the
Yep.
amount that she's done that in the past couple of years compared to what she did before is so fucking night and day.
And you know what? You may still have different perspectives on the situation, but at least
Mhm.
she understands yours and
Not
you
only
understand
understands it,
hers.
but she can explain where the fuck she was coming from.
Right.
Like, not demand that I accept it. Not
Hmm.
even give her the excuse of like, I did the best I can. Because
Of
that's
course.
like, if you give yourself, I did the best I can. No, you absolutely could have done better. Everybody can do better. You did not achieve $1 million every single day of your life. Everybody can do better. You emotionally, physically, everything you can do better.
Well, yeah, but you only can do so much with the tools and
Exactly.
information you have at the time. So yes, you can do better, but what you did was where how I know your mom, that's the way she means it is with the tools and
Yeah.
information she had at the time, you
Absolutely.
know.
I know so many people will lean on that phrase. Oh, well, I did the best I could
Yeah,
with
yeah.
what I had. It's like, don't even rest on that. Just, hey, I did everything.
Hmm.
And if I fucked it up, I fucked it up.
Yeah.
Accept it.
Yeah.
But
It's
if you
important.
aren't fucking, if you're the dad who fucking ran away, you want to know the best day to fucking message your kid? Today. The better day to message your kid was yesterday or the day you walked away. But guess what? The only thing you can change is fucking now.
Don't let that
And
stop you from doing it
yeah,
today. And if you
exactly.
don't do it today,
And
don't let that stop you from doing it tomorrow, but fucking do it because you're the
every
parent.
day that
Just reach
every
out.
day that you fuck up, every single day from here until you fucking die, you're making those holes bigger for your kid to jump through. If they're saying, "Hey, I don't want anything to do with you," don't fucking push it. But ask the fucking questions and be open and ready for the door to fucking open. Stop letting your feelings get hurt as an adult by a kid that doesn't know any better yet.
Yeah, there's gonna be some pushback. Like when I say some, I mean a lot. There's gonna be a lot of pushback, and I urge you as that parent to be understanding of that. You know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna hit you very hard, but you leaving hit them hard too, or
Yep.
what ever happened hit them hard too. So it's going to be a very hard bridge to build, but it's worth building that bridge. That's your fucking child, you know.
Yep.
Um, it's you know, some kids. I got a question for you too, Zach. I mean, some
Yeah.
kids, what did I do to make my parent leave, or what did I need? What do I need from that parent? Like when you're that age and you're starting to put that stuff together, what kind of questions did you ask yourself?
Why did everybody not give enough of a fuck to like stand behind me? Like, obviously, I was dealing with abuse and I couldn't put the words together enough to like say what the fuck was going on without like somebody asking the proper question to like prompt the response almost. So, like, I walked away from everybody on that side of the family entirely. So, when I came to my ex, honestly, was one of the biggest godsends in this situation because she's like, Zach, not everybody walked away from you. You walked away from them. You stopped going, which caused you to walk away. Not like that was the right or wrong decision, but like if you care about these people, reach the fuck out and work through it.
Mhm.
And that kind of gave me the ground rules of how to like fix everything with my mom too. So like obviously thank you for that. But like I remember when I called my grandparents for the first time. And my grandpa essentially was my stand-in for my dad my
Mhm.
entire childhood.
Yep. He sure was.
He's probably the grounding for that like morality and that
He
like
sure has
thought
been.
process that
Yep.
I have. And going to their house for the first time after not seeing them for like 12 years or whatever it was, 15 years at that point was weird. It
Mm.
nothing changed, but everything changed all at once. And we walked out back and my ex took the kids out front and got them back in the car. And she knew I was going to have a hard conversation, but like wanted me to have it, not her force it. And I apologized. I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I walked away, but this is why." And from that day, they didn't even give it a choice. They walked away from him entirely and stood behind me unanimously and said, "We are sorry that you had to walk away to fix everything. We are sorry that you felt like you couldn't trust anybody enough in order to put this back together. And nobody stood behind you in this situation. We stood behind you enough to walk away, but we didn't stand behind you enough in order to like support you to put it back together."
Understand the whys. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, it was surreal. It's not entirely how I expected that entire situation to go
Mhm.
at all. I expected the thing to fucking blow up because that's how everything goes. But it didn't. And that was always weird to me. It seems like everything kind of goes better than what everybody assumes it's going to. But my biggest question was always why I wasn't that important to anybody. And then as you put things back together, as long as the people around you are good people, because obviously there are some absolute shitbags out there,
Mhm.
they cared. They just didn't know what you needed. And if you voice those needs, and even if they're wrong, they will try and meet them. They will do everything. And I think that that's the biggest part that I've changed with my kids. Like if they say, "Hey dad, I can't fucking do this anymore. I need help with this. I need help out of this. I need it. I need whatever I need." I will jump to that point and tell you what more do you need. It's no longer stand on what exactly the words are. It is go to that point and wait for more because at some point they're going to. Because this life is not, you know, balloons and calm and kind. It is all fucking jagged and knife edged and pokey, and they will poke your ribs in every single fucking circumstance. So I try and be the fucking guiding light, just like I try to light the fucking lanterns before you guys every single chance I get. It's like, and that's why it's so weird. Like when I have a conversation with my mom, and she's like, "Well, I go to you for guidance." It's like, well, that's not how that's supposed to work, and that feels weird.
Yeah, but once you're an adult, it's different, you
Oh,
know?
I know it is, but like you don't realize, and this is going to sound like a douchebag way to say this, but it's the only way that my mind is being able to say it right at the second. When you become enlightened to see the path forward, everybody else comes to you to see the fucking path. And you don't realize you're enlightened and you don't realize you can see the path. You realize that you can see the bullshit and everything that everybody's doing and work through it. Not that you can even see it yourself. You just kind of know the path and where to go. To be a leader, you don't have to be the person that knows every single correct answer. You just got to be able to work through it.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's times in, everybody's life where you need you need a lamp to find, and sometimes you are that lamp to find,
Yeah.
for other people to find. It's if you are that mom or dad, I just have one thing to say before closing. Basically, if you're that mom or dad uh, that needs to find that way back into your child's life, I urge you to do it because I almost guarantee you that that child is waiting for you to do it, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take the reassurance. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take rest. Know when to not. And it's going to take you being able to hold boundaries as well as respect their boundaries. It's very important to do the work and not just kick it under the grill. It's not some these abandonment or doing wrong by your kids in one way or another is not something that you can just kick down the stream and it's going to go away. And other thing, it's not, because that's a lot of bullshit. There's going to be
And
a lot of work.
no matter the hurt that you've caused, that kid is always going to look for you or try and think about you or try and put it all together because they may or may not know you, the
Yeah.
actual you, not the
Hmm.
one that was painted for them. My dad fucking abused me, and I sat there, and he was the second person I looked for at my graduation. I remember my name being called, and the first person I saw was Maddie running up to the fucking stage, and the second person I looked for was an open seat because I was waiting to see if my dad was sitting in it. And I didn't talk to him for years at that point. Not because I expected him to be there, but I expected it to be the last chance of like, uh, you did good. Congrats. 6 months later, he said he never wanted me. So I guess that's a bigger problem. But like,
Jesus.
yeah, it's crazy if you think about it and actually put context to it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you don't heal by pretending the hole isn't there. You
No.
don't heal by learning that you were never the one that created it. You're not as empty as you are made to feel. So figure out the
And
ways to
you're
fill
more
that hole.
important than you realize.
Hmm. That's what I say to those kids that were left. You are absolutely important.
And to the dad who never was able to heal and ran away because they're afraid, that kid fucking wants you there.
Hmm.
You're choosing not to be there for them. You're making the same decision your dad did. To those moms who want to sit there and abuse and verbally control every single little bit of their everybody's fucking life, and then you decide to run away because you're finding your new you, bitch, you don't fucking matter like that. To the dads who are so uncomfortable they don't feel like they can walk into a door that's not theirs, bitch, you don't fucking matter like that.
Yep.
Your uncomfort doesn't fucking matter. Fuck your uncomfort.
Yeah.
That kid matters more than both of you fucking combined because they're the people that make you go into the fucking future.
Yeah, absolutely. To that kid, young adult, or even older adult that was left, being left absolutely changes you. There's no way around that at all. But you know what? It doesn't get to define your worth. You get to do that. It doesn't get to choose your future relationships. You get to do that, bud. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it doesn't get to decide who you're allowed to become because it didn't decide who you were allowed to become. In your case, you became exactly what you needed from
And
that parent.
no no matter if you got one kid and you walked away, you got a mixed family and a kid that you don't see, whatever. I'm gonna say it straight, and it's the one thing that Fa did fucking actually right. Every kid is fucking equal. It doesn't matter if they share your blood. It doesn't matter if they're fucking there all the time. Everybody is fucking equal. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking friend of your family or
Mhm.
your significant other's sister or whatever. It doesn't matter if they call you dad or not. You treat every single fucking kid that walks in that house equal, and you treat them all like the fucking kings and queens that they are, because that's your fucking job as a parent.
Absolutely. And this is a long one, but that's okay because I think it's needed. When I was just marrying into my father was just marrying into my step family, my step grandmother and grandfather. I have to Virginia and Chuck. I have to give them the best. They, lived in Elka Park, up where and they just are. They were so welcoming like that. Like everybody's kids. Everybody was the same. They did not differentiate at all, because I was a stepchild, you know,
Yep.
and it made me feel so awesome. So that's kind of my little side
And
quest of
those
experience on
family
that.
members, whether that's the stepdad, whether that's a stepmom, whether that's an aunt or an uncle or whatever, you're going to be the reason that that kid accepts that household, because they're going to say, hey, look, I was accepted regardless of where I came from.
Yeah.
Whether I was a scumbag or a dirtbag, hey, maybe these people will have impact on me and I'll become a better person because they were around.
Hmm.
And at some point, every single person around your kid adds to your kid. So if there's bad people around, it's acceptable to push them away. But it's also acceptable to teach them the door is open enough to listen to where the hell the other person's coming from.
Absolutely.
Guys, keep
Absolutely.
lighting the lantern because your kid might be following you.
Absolutely do that. It's a lonely road. You don't have to walk it alone. Cheers.